means when you take the, thank you. I should have just kidding. Okay. So when you please take the screen. Yes. So
All
this
right,
will,
thank you so much, Ruby. I enjoyed doing the polls. I mean, it got me thinking about some of the things that I do feel are the major issues. Of course, I mean, some of the things that I did research about or see in organizations that I've worked with over time. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you're joining us from. I don't want to assume that everyone is joining us from Nigeria. I mean, and we may have audiences from different parts of the world. So right now, my name is Oluwatoyin Ademarati, and I am a data scientist. I also work with the Ghana Big Data team, and I'll be talking to you about Gen AI or AI in general, but not just that, but how your business can prepare for that or for um, Gen AI. I know it's the raving thing now. Everybody is trying to do Gen AI and all of that. But it's important that organizations realize that they need to be ready for the entire process. So please, can we all confirm that we can see my screen?
I can. Guys, you can write in the
Yes.
chat if you can see your screen. Just say yes on the chat. Okay.
Hmm. All right. So quickly, I wanted to just get that distraction off the way. So yes, preparing your organization for the AI revolution. I mean, AI is the thing now. Everybody's trying to do AI chatbots, AI agents. Everybody's trying to automate some of the things that they are working on. You can see AI agents in customer service, and you're seeing people even trying to complete or consummate transactions using AI agents. You see that people are now deploying AI chatbots where you go to the chatbot, ask questions, make inquiry about a business, and the chatbot gives you responses or gives you valuable feedback for whatever it is that you want to do. But then, I mean, we if you have observed, you realize that there are still some issues that are underneath that are going on, and we're going to talk about them. And from my experience with working with organizations, throughout my career as a data scientist, I've worked with both full-time and part-time. I've worked with four thereabout organizations, four companies, and I can, based on my experience, share with you some of the issues that I see going on within these companies, and also even from experiences of companies out there. We can also learn from what they are doing and how they are managing, or how they can be better prepared, or how they could have been better prepared for this AI thing. So yes, you're all welcome. And then let's talk about AI or Gen AI. I know that some of us may know what AI is, some of us may know what Gen AI is. Does anybody know? I mean, I believe that we all know the full meaning of AI, which is artificial intelligence, and what it basically means. Okay, before I go ahead and start to spill, what do you understand by artificial intelligence? So this is not a technical conversation per se, but I just want us to, be familiar with some of these technologies, just in case that there are people who are a bit not tech savvy. So what do we understand by AI? What's AI? We all know AI in full is artificial intelligence. So what do we understand by AI? Anybody in the comments, you want to unmute your mic and say something, it would really be nice. So I would love to hear from Daniel. I would love to hear from Daniel. Um, Feintola, Mr. Brand. I know, like, what do we understand by AI?
You can write in the chat
Can
also.
write in the chat,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah, if you don't want to talk, what you think it is, what AI is.
I mean, just please feel free to say anything. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything, I mean, technical, difficult, or something. Just what you understand by AI. It's or what you think of when what is the first thing that comes to mind when you hear AI? Like, what's the first thing that comes to mind? Yes, thank you. I have a feedback. AI is when machines are designed to think and learn like humans. Yes, absolutely correct. Absolutely, absolutely correct. I, I'm guessing, is Fentola one of the people that said he's a decision maker? Maybe he's the CTO. Maybe he's the CTO of his company.
Yeah,
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Fentola.
thank you, Favola.
Yeah, any other feedback? Okay, yes. So, like Fentola said, AI is, I mean, the concept or the technology of we training machines, we humans are training machines to think like human beings, to make decisions like human beings, to behave like human beings. And it is straightforward. This is done. Yeah, we have someone, Daniel. I'll come back to Daniel's comments soon. So this is done basically by giving AI tools data that they can use to learn what we do, how we make decisions. So with that, the technology behind the AI looks at the pattern of the data, the patterns, trends around the data, and then based on that, it comes up with decisions. I don't want to go too technical, but I mean, we have different parts of AI. We talk about machine learning, we talk about supervised learning, unsupervised learning, but I don't want to confuse us. Let's just stick to that part where we say that AI is we humans training machines to behave, make decisions, and think like us. Okay, so Daniel is saying that I think AI performs tasks requiring human intelligence, such as problem solving. Exactly, that is your state. That is what AI is all about. Okay, so what now is generative AI? So generative AI is a scope of AI where machines are now creating new content from old content. Now, this old content becomes the data that they are feeding on. Remember that we said that AI cannot drive, cannot make decisions, cannot do what it's supposed to do if there is no data. So it feeds on data. So, and this is why generative AI now is the type of AI that feeds on audio data, content, audio, images, text, and all of that. And so the role of a Gen AI tool, for example, is to create new content from old content like text, images, audios, videos, or even like computer programming code. So we've talked about AI, and I hope it all makes sense to everybody. Now, what are some of the things that businesses can use GenAI to do? And if you have interacted with tools like Gemini, ChatGPT, and all of that, you can, I mean, you'll be able to relate with some of these things, right? Like writing text messages, writing articles, emails, reports. Some people or some persons even use it to generate images, graphics. I know there are tools, for example, that allow you to even create presentation slides, full presentation slides, just by you giving an instruction or adding in the content of your presentation. So those are things that Gen AI does. Then sometimes it helps you if you are a programmer, you write code and all of that. It helps you to write your code, debug codes, and all of that. Then sometimes you can use it to make videos, voiceovers. You can use it to even create music. We have examples of movies, short movies that were created by AI tools. Gemini, for example, I think Google has this AI tool. I can't remember what its name is. That you can literally generate videos, ads, videos for your ads from there. And so we see that these are some of the things that GenAI is actually enabling people to do. You can do language translation, you can summarize an entire textbook, notebooks, monitor reports, create dashboards, create chatbots and virtual assistants. There are lots and lots of use cases for Gen AI. So let's talk about businesses now. What are some of the things that businesses can use Gen AI to do? Businesses are currently using Gen AI for customer support. We have probably worked with a business who has like a WhatsApp bot. There are some of those bots that work with artificial intelligence in the background. You query them and basically they give you a feedback based on the question or the query that you have inputted. So you are looking at customer support. Another business use case is marketing and content creation. Software development for businesses, data analysis, even HR and recruitment. Organizations are currently using Gen AI to handle their recruitment. So moving on to the next slide. I haven't talked about that. We want to talk about now, what are the problems with some of these implementations that companies are doing? We've seen that a lot of companies rushed into it, and to an extent, they have failures. And one of the goals of this webinar is for business owners, decision makers to understand that it's not about the buzz of let's do AI. What are the things that you really need to put in place in your business to be able to leverage AI? And considering I want to believe that most of us on the call are Africans. And so putting into consideration our side of the world, there is that temptation to just rush into things without really understanding what is required of us. You see businesses trying to say, let's implement AI, let's do AI agents, let's do AI chatbots, without really looking at what are the basics, what are the things that we need to get right before doing that. So we want to look at case studies of, a few examples of how businesses have jumped into it and sort of like failed. So we have the examples of some Nigerian banks, and while currently a lot of the Nigerian banks have gotten it right, but one or two persons might be able to agree with me that when this chatbot thing came out in Nigerian banks, it wasn't really what it was supposed to do. Sometimes you go there, put in prompts, and then those chatbots are not able to give you feedback, or they give you wrong feedback. I read a comment from someone that said that they would rather go to the bank and wait for 24 hours than use a Nigerian bank chatbot. And what are some of the issues here is that sometimes these chatbots were not trained with the right language data, for example, or like chatbots usually probably was designed by someone in the abroad, let me say it that way, and does not give consideration to the kind of language we speak, the way we speak our English. So, for example, I could come into a chatbot and say, I know fee transfer. Now, it doesn't make sense because that chatbot was not trained to probably understand pidgin. It's just plain English. Even sometimes when you are speaking English and you put a little bit of your Nigerian tone in it, it destabilizes the entire machine learning algorithm, and it doesn't really, it's not able to make sense of what you're saying. So these are some of the problems that organizations are faced and challenges that organizations are faced. So another one is around data governance and privacy issues. So we see that a lot of companies have gone into AI and all of that, customer segmentations and things like that, and they get into trouble. They have not put in the proper data privacy rules or data privacy processes. They are not doing data governance. And so sometimes even customer data goes out to the public, and I mean, they get sued for it. So there was this case of Domino's. I don't know, we may have heard of it on Twitter back then, that a customer sort of sued Domino's for sending them a promotional message. And the guy was like, I did not buy anything from Domino's, so why is it that you guys are sending me personalized promotional message and all of that? And I think he sued Domino's and sort of cash out with some millions. But I think the gist was that this guy probably ordered from Chowdeck, and then maybe Chowdeck transferred his data to Domino's, and Domino's sent him a message. But the point is that, I mean, that was these businesses not even looking at what does data protection say in your country, stuff like NDPR. And if you want to be an international organization, for example, you need to start looking at GDPR, for example. So NDPR, GDPR, these are data protection or data privacy bodies. NDPR is for Nigeria, GDPR is for Europe. So these are some of the problems. So you get customer information, people are using it to perpetrate fraud, they are using it to steal from people, their voices, I mean, and all of that. So these are some of the issues that companies are faced in the process of implementing AI. And so, having said some of the issues that companies are faced, or some of the problems, real life problems that companies are faced, what are some of the foundational issues? What are the things that, as an organization, what should you be looking at? Okay, I want to implement AI. I want to do an AI chatbot. I want to do an AI agent. What should you be looking at? How should you be preparing? Or what should you not do? So first thing I'm going to discuss these issues in 4 categories. The first category is data issue. So first of all, you are a company, you're not collecting data. You're not collecting transaction data. You're not collecting data about your customer. You're not collecting data about your products. You're not collecting any type of data. The first thing is you need to start looking at your data collection process. You might even be collecting data, but you might not be doing it the right way. So you're sort of maybe doing surveys, sending different survey links to customers, and there is no one-stop location for the feedback that you're getting from the customer. That is an issue on its own. So, but first off, you need to even start collecting data, and you need to start doing it the right way. You need to start considering things like consent. I mean, let your customers give consent for the data that you're collecting from them. Now, for some businesses, they are collecting data, but the problem is they are collecting poor data. They are not collecting the right data. So stuff like you want to collect a customer phone number, for example, and I mean, a customer is putting 9 digits instead of 11 digits, for example. Let's say the customer is a Nigerian and they're giving you their phone number. They are putting in 9 digits instead of 11 digits. Or maybe your customer service person is the one entering this customer data. Now, these are issues because, I mean, obviously that phone number is invalid. There are ways by which, as an organization, you can prevent some of these issues. There are data validation techniques that you can use to prevent some of these issues. But I mean, as an organization, if you're not even doing these things and you're already collecting bad quality data, you're not collecting good data, then you have, I mean, that's a major problem, because once you build an AI agent or something around AI on top of this kind of data, then there's going to be problem. You don't expect that, because I mean, in data, there's something called garbage in, garbage out. What you give is what you get. So another thing you should be looking at in terms of your data is your data structure, the architecture on which you are building your data on. If you're a big organization, you should start thinking databases and cut off these Excel things. So I mean, there's a point that you will get to as an organization. You should know that, I mean, you need to do better. You need to start scaling. So another thing is data governance. Some organizations are not doing data governance, and what that means is that customers can cash out based, I mean, when they sue you about maybe, for example, data privacy issues and all of that. But I mean, you need to start looking at how to secure even your business information. So then finally, we have infrastructure, and we'll talk more about that as we move on. The next thing is people. You are a founder, you are not data literate, you don't understand what data is, you don't even have the vision for data in your organization. That is a major problem. You have team members that are just giving you numbers without actually giving you the data on those numbers. So silo teams, for example, sales is doing their own, HR is doing their own, finance is saying something else. There's no sync in your teams. This is also a major issue. Then there's also lack of data culture and poor change management. Lack of data culture in the sense that currently in your system, people are not working with data in mind. Anybody is using anything, anybody is just people are just making decisions. And then now change management as an organization, you are trying to get your people to see, oh, this is what data can do, this is how we can be a data-led organization or data-driven organization. But everybody is not, I mean, people are not coming on board. You're not sure how to get them into what is it called? You're not able to get them into this idea of we need to start doing things with data. So the next category is technology. I mean, there are different technologies, but again, I don't want to bore us with the technical part of it. But for the main thing is that for your organization, you need to be able to assess and say, okay, at this point that I'm in, what tools are best for me? What tools are going to be most suitable for me as a business owner, as a decision maker? And then the last category of some of these issues are around strategy. What are your business goals? What are your objectives as an organization? How are you making plans to achieve those goals or those objectives? Now, having seen the common problems or the issues that, I mean, organizations face when they are trying to do AI or Gen AI, let's look at an example of an organization. I mean, we all know Netflix, and we can tell that Netflix is actually doing well when it comes to recommendation engine, telling you what movie to watch, what movie will be best for you, and basically using your activity data to tell you what you'd probably prefer. And so they are driving sales, they are driving engagement on their platform because they have gotten it right. And I'm not sure, I mean, you can really correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure that Netflix has really gotten into any data privacy or data issue troubles in recent times. So basically what we're saying is that Netflix is actually doing it right. So there are other organizations like that. For example, the Nigerian banks examples that we have cited, I would, there's a bank, for example, I don't want to mention their names. It's not like I'm doing promotion for them, but I mean, I can tell you that there's a bank, for example, that I can say for sure that, I mean, they have gotten this chatbot thing right. You could literally log on to a chatbot to their website, and you give them their account number and they pull up the data for your account balance. They do the necessary checks. That chatbot is doing the necessary checks. It's confirming whether you are actually the one that's asking you questions to confirm whether you're actually the one that owns the account and is about to make that request on that account. So, I mean, I see that organizations are getting it right. And so, what are the things that these organizations are actually doing that they are doing right? So, you as an organization or a business owner or a decision maker, what are the things that you can be doing within your business that can make the difference? So, first thing is, sorry, Daniel, please, can you mute your mic? There's a feedback from your end. Okay, so first thing is you need to understand your data readiness. Look at your business, examine it. At what point are we in this data thing? If you're not collecting data, for example, please, what exactly are you trying to implement? Like, there's really nothing to implement. So you need to start saying, okay, how are we collecting data? Are we collecting data? What kind of data do we need to start collecting? Are we ready? Do we have good data? There are organizations that have started implementing some of these AI use cases. And then along the line, they realize that, shoot, we don't even have good data. We don't have good data to build on top of, to build these AI tools on top of. So at the end of the day, most projects fail, or people have to go back to scratch to start fixing data quality issues. And I mean, the time that has been done, the time and resources that have been used to implement some of these use cases is not beans. Like, sometimes it's a lot of money for organizations. So let's imagine, even for a small business, what the implication of that is going to be. So the other thing is, people, there is really no data-driven organization or AI-driven organization without people coming on board. So you need to communicate the vision to your team. You as a business owner or as a lead, you need to start looking at how to lead from the top. Show how people should work with data, people should use data, people should work around their data. And then you also want to do training programs for employees or key decision makers in your organization. Another key consideration is technology. So there is this myth that if you're going to do anything around data and all of that, that you need to use big tools like Azure, like AWS, like Google, and all of that. But there are tools that, for a small business or for a growing business, there are lots of tools available out there for data warehousing, putting your data. I'm not talking about Excel. Like, there are lots of tools out there that are available for growing businesses that they can leverage to actually start doing some of these AI data warehousing, data analytics, and all of that. So you need to also look at your business and say, okay, what are we able to, like, how much are we able to invest into this particular project? What tools can we get, or what tools are affordable for us? Now, the last thing is processes and governance. Now, when an organization is able to map out their process, it makes building data culture easier. For example, when a person is speaking numbers, for example, and all of that, or they're saying, oh, let's make this decision, for example, you're asking them, based on what metrics? Can you give me numbers to back that up? So if there are processes put in place, for example, why are we onboarding customers without having their phone number or not having their correct names? So this sort of issue, or why are we onboarding customers the same customers with different identity. For example, there are some businesses that it's very easy for me, for example, to go and do a transaction as a different person. And so when you're trying to reconcile this customer, you're not able to tell if this toy is the same toy that came to buy, let's say, biscuits yesterday. So, I mean, because there are siloed data, like data is just coming from different angles, everybody is keeping data in different places. We're not able to synchronize or sync our data together. So, another thing would be governance. You being able to design rules, strategies, you've been able to put people in places that say, oh, hey, this is what we are supposed to do, and we need to follow these set guidelines or these standards from our organization. Okay, so I mean, I haven't talked about some of these things that organizations can do to make them AI ready. Let's talk about now as a business. What are some of the things that you should be prioritizing? First thing is your strategy. What does your strategy align with your business goal? So, as a business, in the next 1, 2, 3 months, what are we supposed to do? So, some businesses actually do not understand that with a simple dashboard, a report page, you are okay. Like for some businesses, you don't even need to start implementing AI currently, and that's just the truth. Like based on your data readiness assessment, you don't need to start implementing AI. You don't need to start doing AI agents and all of that. First thing is you need to get your data right. Simple dashboards, simple service metrics, finance metrics, KPIs that show what your standing is. They are enough. Like they are literally enough for you. So you need to be able to look at your business goals. You need to be able to look at your strategy and refine it to suit your own business and your current what your current situation is. Now, also when you're doing AI, you need to start looking at what are going to be my deliverables, what's the return on investment. I mean, doing AI is not cheap. So for a small business that doesn't even have good quality data and is trying to do AI agents and all of that, so you could imagine how much you'll be given and how you're not likely to get a good return on that investment. So also let's talk about technology and technology modernizations. Like I said earlier, you need to look at your business again, assess your business, and determine what infrastructures or what technologies will be suitable. And the truth is, you don't even need very expensive infrastructure, right? There are cheaper infrastructures that you can leverage to start implementing some of these things. So I don't want to bore you with the technical jargons, but I mean, if you really don't, if you're up to it, please you can go through some of the slides, like some of the text on the slides. So next is data management excellence, and I think this is very, 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 very important. This is even like the very, very basis of anything you're doing with data. So what kind of data are you collecting? Is it high quality? Is it well governed? Are the people working with it, using it, the decision makers, the people that are entering the data, are they well educated? Are there pipelines that can flow for your automation? Is your data is your data explanatory enough? Do you have catalogs? Are you managing your metadata? Privacy issues, security issues, compliance issues, depending on your industry. There are regulators everywhere. If you're in the banking industry, there are different regulators. If you're in the insurance industry, for example, if you're even in education, there are like different regulators that are in charge of some of these things. So, and you need to understand what they say. So, what about your talent and skills readiness? You as a decision maker or as a business owner, you need to start thinking of how you can, get yourself to know more about how data can help your organization and how data can help your organization get better, and what are the things that you should even be doing to build a good data culture within your organization. And finally, culture and change management. And I think this is also one critical aspect of it. Now, it's easy to work, but again, it's sort of difficult to actually work with change in mind. Data, for example, this part of the world, for example, is people trying to move from is a shift in our thinking, is a shift in the way we do things. And I can give examples of organizations that I've worked with, and it was really a struggle for them to start looking towards how to even harmonize their data collection, their data usage, and everything. Everybody wanted to do their own. People were doing manual edits on different things, changing numbers, and all of that. So, usually for organizations, change is a bit difficult. So, again, you can see that doing Gen AI or implementing AI is not the issue here. You can literally implement AI, build AI agents, build chatbots, build machine learning models that can do crazy stuff for you. Yeah, that can do a lot of things for you. But the thing is, are you ready? Do you have the right data? Will you be able to get return on investment on what you have put into this project? So really, it's not just about implementing these use cases, doing one use case, do the other use case, let's do this. Everybody coming up with their ideas, but are you really ready? Do you have what it takes? So yes, I do hope that you have learned one or two things from this session, and you're taking on one or two things. And even if you're an employee, it means that whatever you've learned here, you sort of have the leverage to be able to influence your organization as to what they are doing. When you're speaking to people, you can speak with this knowledge in mind. You can advise. So, for example, your line manager comes to you and they're like, oh, this is the in thing that we're trying to do. And you remember what you have learned from here. You can give your own feedback. And I do believe that you'll be noticed and rewarded for that. So, yes, thank you, everyone. I hope that you have learned one or two. At this point, I'll be dropping the mic just in case you have questions or you have doubts, or there are things that you just want us to shed more light on. Yep. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Tony. Thank you for such a wonderful presentation. I hope everyone has learned one or two things from what Mrs. Tony has taught us. I have learned a lot, I can tell you for sure. In my own summary, I don't know if it's the same thing everybody has gotten, but Ms. Tony, first of all, she introduced us what is it to the topic of AI, what it is, what it's used for, how businesses are using it. Also give us examples of problems that companies have, giving us two use cases. If I remember correctly, the deep fake problem, and also like a chatbot, especially in the financial institutions, right? Then she went on to talk about, okay, these are the problems, dividing it into four: data, strategy, people, technology, how we could also solve these problems, how we could bring together each of these individual problems across these different categories, and I don't know, look into our organizations or look into our capabilities. Are we actually ready for AI? Do we have a use case? Because from what I know, AI can solve everything, but is it necessary? Is it not cheaper to use traditional tools, at least for the meantime, right? So this is what we learned. Thank you, Ms. Tony, for such a wonderful presentation. Now I would leave the floor for questions. Additional things that you think we could talk about, your own contribution, something you think we should discuss about. Just the floor is yours. If you don't want to talk, I suppose you could write in the chat. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Alex. Thank you so much. So questions, contributions, everything is um let's table that. Let's table everything that you might have in mind. You can write in the chat or you can unmute yourself. I think you have the floor. Mm. Or if you have some, I don't know, maybe your organization have some AI use cases and you are like, can I use AI for this? What tools? What? Because we garnered big data, the ones hosting this webinar. We're actually a data organization, okay? I understand that for businesses, for companies, it can be hard, like they don't know what to do, especially with the issue of data quality, data collection, silo data, data governance, infrastructure tools, what to do. And as I and Tony have been in this field for quite a while, up to 10 years, we could help with this. It's actually not so difficult. Sometimes it's just the lack of knowledge, like you don't know what to do, right? Showing you what is possible, what can be done with your data, with your organization, with your tools. Even you don't have to spend lots of money, like Mr. Tony said. It doesn't like infrastructure doesn't have to be expensive. There are cheaper ones that can meet your use cases within your budget, right? So this is just what we do. And if you, I don't know, maybe after this webinar, you have our emails, for example, and you would like to reach out to us to talk about some use cases or some questions and doubts. We offer 30 minutes consultation free. You don't have to pay for that. You could also like reach out to us and we could discuss that. But for this webinar, do we have questions? Do we have contributions? Or something you would like to add to the conversation that we've had today? We could wait for maybe 30 seconds if no one wants to say anything. Are there practical ways to use AI for record keeping in, say, a warehouse? When you say record keeping, I'm going on a lot of assumptions. So if it's not correct, you could like just tell me to back up a bit, okay? So when you say record keeping, you mean like mm, storing your data or what? Can I have more context? Okay, if we don't have more context, I would just say, so let's say I would take off record keeping in a warehouse, like I'm supposing you mean from what Tony said that how everything doesn't have to be manual editing, right? So let's think about it like this, right? AI can let's say it's a storage warehouse, for example, right? AI systems can automatically collect like stock movement, right? Collecting data from your emails, your inventories, invoices, all of that, right? Collecting data from your deliveries, your peak activity, your dispatch times, right? So how will it be done practically? Let's say each delivery, they have barcode scanners, for example, right? So barcode scanners that immediately send these logs to a backend environment, for example. Mobile apps also with AI capture information in real time, or using camera, your CCTV or something, right? That logs information about missing items, or goods that were damaged when they came in, or boxes and deliveries entering or leaving, for example, your warehouse, right? This could eliminate like human error, because sometimes you're tired and you're counting and you're tired and it's very easy to make mistakes, for example. Also eliminates the handwork, the manual work of writing records and all of that. And in this way, inventory are updated automatically. All you need to do is just go to where this information is stored and like look at like the value. Also, we could use AI, because obviously if you're keeping like a record keeping, you need like a live ledger, or if I should say like a balance, not a balance sheet, sorry, a ledger, I would say, right? Of okay, this was the date this stock was delivered, this is how many that is left, these are the expiry dates, these are this is where it is on the shelf, for example, right? And this, you can now use AI instead of going through and manually going through your reports. You can now say, okay, this is how AI could tell me what delivery, what stock will run out soon, what then I asked for, I ordered that I think I have a too much stock of, for example. Also, what product is underperforming, for example. And then using AI, using the document intelligence, we can now use it to deal with invoices, right? Customer, what was the last um I don't know, supply. What was the last delivery? Like what customer did I order from? What supplier have I been ordering from? Right? You can automate if I understand correctly, storing data on sales and stocks. Okay, perfect. So I think did I answer your question, Divine Favor? Is that those are like ways that I would say we could use AI, eliminating the manual work. Guys, please, when we say using AI, there should always be human in the mix, okay? Because AI is not 100% perfect. Even humans are not 100% perfect. Just that AI is like, I don't know, faster, if I should say, right? And they don't get tired unless you don't have computer, for example. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. Like there should always be human in the mix, also manually, like just checking it to make sure, okay, this AI system, because you don't want a situation where you ordered for 4 things, but your AI record has written 6 there, maybe due to seeing or like a misinformation or something. And then you're like, oh, I still have stock of something, but in reality, you don't have a stock of some, you don't have any stock anymore, right? So there should always be human in the mix, always. But of course, fewer humans, and we are working more productively, more economically, with the help of AI. Okay. I don't know. Did I answer your question, Divine Favor? All right. Thank you. Thank you. If there are no more questions, I don't want to take more of your Saturday, it's your weekend. If there are no more questions, no more things to add to it, we will end the webinar here. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for taking part of your day, your weekend, to come and listen to us, to hear what we have to say and asking us questions. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time. In the meantime, guys, don't forget, if you have questions, or you are a business, you are a person, you're trying to open something and you don't know how will AI help me, please write to us, reach out to us, at Garnet Big Data, our garnetbigdata.com. You can contact us through the emails that you received, the link for the webinar today. You can reach us on any platform, actually, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, LinkedIn, or just send us an email. Okay. I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. And I hope after this webinar, you are ready. You can objectively look at your organization, look at yourself, look at your little businesses or big businesses, and ask yourself and be able to answer the question: Am I AI ready? Am I generative AI ready? And how can I use it? If you're still in doubt, write to us. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a lovely, lovely Saturday and a lovely weekend. Okay. Bye bye.